Hey guys, just your average Joe here, and I want to go over a hot topic that's basically all over the internet right now. And it basically it correlates to something that I've been wanting to, I should say, come on here and talk about, and that is, in fact, sports and the MLB specifically. They just came underway. Their season started. Their 60 game implemented, whatever shortened season just started on Thursday last week, and we're literally just about 5 days in, and the Miami Marlins organization has come down with an outbreak of the coronavirus. A couple of games now are being postponed. You have the Cincinnati Reds; a couple of players in their organization have tested positive. The Atlanta Braves, two of their catchers have um, symptoms that are comparable with this. So I don't know if they were tested negative or they're awaiting their test results. So you have that, and then you just have various other players that are still whoever they basically are getting better because they had this, but they say it still has repercussions on their body. Their body still does not feel the same. And it might take time for them to get at that level of 100%. But a lot of players that have had the COVID-19 have basically said, it took a toll on my body. Whether it's with the breathing capacity in the lungs, or just fatigue, or any other thing that I think one of the players said that they were having heart problems stemming from their stint with the coronavirus. So it's not a joke. And of course you have players that opted out from the very beginning, citing that this season was not worth the reward. The risk did not work, wasn't worth the reward, and I'm in agreement. And I've been saying this for months now, on various other streams in the past. I've come on with my friends. We've done group live streams. And I feel like we talked about this ad nauseum, basically saying, and I was basically saying, I just feel like even when it was there was an 81 game proposal, I felt that it was unnecessary. Maybe back in March and April when people were still hopeful that we might get a full season, whether if they were going to have to extend it into November. But this was before everything was known. Everything was still uncertain. We thought, and there were reports that this thing might blow over when the weather got warmer, which we obviously know is not the case. So there were a lot of things that we had in our minds back then. But then once you got into June, and then even obviously this month, I just felt like the season should be a wash. I will go on to say I feel the NBA and the NHL had a better plan stated. And I felt like it was easier for them to do so, not only because they played the majority of their season, and they were just going to finish that out, but not all teams were going to participate in anyway. Obviously, the teams that were nowhere near a playoff berth just did not play. And, they're playing in a bubble. They don't have to travel, and look, I get it. MLB did do steps. They did take steps necessary to contain this. They eliminated long cross country traveling. They basically said, okay, look, if you're in the Northeast region, you're going to be playing the Northeast teams, or so on and so forth, or or Eastern Division teams. But you still have that traveling. You still have the road games. You still have teams that are playing in hot spots that are either affected within their home states or traveling to hotspot states. You're really not, and a lot of players are calling for action. A lot of players are starting to question the motive and the priorities and the mindset of these owners, or even the commissioner of baseball, and what intentions do they have, because they don't feel like their well-being or their safety was at heart when implementing this, these guidelines and this 60 game shortened season. So I just feel like, and I've been saying this, and I want to make this short, but I really wanted to say my piece because, again, way before this news broke, I felt it was just a joke. I've expressed my thoughts on Instagram. I made several comments on SNY, which is the Sports New York TV station that covers the Mets, the Jets, and all of their local sports. But I've said it time and time again. This is a joke. It's literally a joke. It's not the way baseball is supposed to be played. And the DH, look, I'm not talking about DH rules. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I honestly, if they were to implement permanently the DH rule within a year or two, I'm not against it. I'm really not. I'm not like that old fashioned, oh, well, no, there's too many rule changes. I'm not even going based on that. I'm talking about just plain and simple. Was this the right thing to do? And I just feel like it wasn't. I just feel like they're doing it for money. I understand it's a business. I understand this is an organization that is in it to make money. This is these are organizations or owners that invested, millions or billions of dollars um, for a return. And I get it, but at the end of the day, you have to realize that those dollar signs add up to people's lives, add up to players' well-being, staff well-being. And you not only shouldn't only be, as an owner, you shouldn't only be mindful of your staff and your organization, but the impact you might have on other organizations if things go out of hand. So let's say, okay, the Miami Marlins as an organization, they have an outbreak. They pass it on to Cincinnati, or they pass it on to New York, or they pass it on to a various other organization that they might play in the course of a season. That's what I'm talking about. You were also now responsible for that as well. So I just feel like, with this news coming out, and the way I felt about this, and I've expressed several times in the past, now is a good time as ever to come on and just briefly talk about it. And I honestly, guys, please feel free. Don't hesitate. Drop a comment. I want to know your thoughts. What's your favorite team? Number one. Obviously, it goes without saying, if you are a fan of baseball, you wanted or you were hoping for a baseball season. But when did you, if you do, when did you feel that it just wasn't the right thing to do? And if you do feel it was the right thing to do, and maybe baseball just needs to tweak its guidelines or just move forward from here, then so on, then so be it. But I would love to hear your comments and how you feel. But I just feel like, look, this is an unprecedented situation. Yes, we've had strike shortened seasons in all sports. You've had lockouts. You've had seasons that didn't even, happen in the past. So it's not unheard of for a league to continue in a shortened season span and go on and be successful. I'm not saying that, but this is a different situation. This isn't a strike. This has nothing to do with a money issue. The reason why your season is short is because people are getting sick. People are dying. This is a pandemic issue. So it's a big difference from, missing the whole month of April, May, and June just because players and the players association, MLB association, and the players union and MLB owners didn't see eye to eye on certain things. This is a completely different situation. So, you can have a 100-page guideline in front of you, and you can follow every step to the T, but you are not guaranteed to contain, or you're not guaranteed the well-being of your players and your staff just because a guideline or a book says you're doing the right thing, because you don't know. We don't know. So I just feel like this season should have not ever happened. It's a sad thing to say, because I did want baseball to start. It was something that I wanted to discuss on my channel, along with the countless movies or whatever else that was postponed, or on a permanent, either a permanent closure or things that are coming out next year now that were supposed to come out either now or months ago. So look, we all have our reasons why we wanted things to happen. But sometimes you got to step out of that and realize, okay, I get it. We're stuck home. Most of us are home. Not everybody, but most of us are home because, we either are unemployed, or our jobs are currently forcing us to stay home, to work from home, or our jobs are shut down temporarily and we can't go to them. So I understand people want the distraction. I get it, but that's a selfish reason, and especially the money reasons as an owner. It's a selfish reason to want this season to go, as planned. I just feel like it should never have happened. So, then that's my take on it. I just, again, I really, I'd like to know what your take on it is. Drop a comment, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, um, and let me know your thoughts. Maybe you have a better idea of how baseball should have um, went about doing things. If the season was supposed to happen, maybe they should have did this a certain way, and so be it. I just feel like I don't see how this was a good idea from start. I don't. And a lot of people thought, a lot of analysts, a lot of experts thought that they would be doomed either the middle of the season or even at the towards the fall, because everybody keeps talking about a second wave and whatnot, and oh, what if you're in the playoffs or even in the World Series and the teams participating in it basically not only have to forfeit, but their star players are hurt and can't participate because they're not hurt, but they're on the COVID-19 injured list or whatever. What do you do there? So a lot of things were said by experts and analysts, and now again, as I said, you're 5 days in, and look what happens. And then the other, and again, this is a very minute problem. It's a problem for DraftKings, but when it pales into comparison with the troubles and you know the livelihood of people that are sick over this. But you have players that do the fantasy draft in DraftKings. You pay money, you construct a team with your roster, and now you have players that are on people's roster that they paid for that can't participate. So you can't even put a team out that's going to be able to compete for that game or for that week. So it's just like, and I think I read somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, DraftKings is now down 13% because of this. So that's another fallout, from all this, for them financially and for the people that do participate in their in that fantasy draft. So so there's that. So and also let me know if you're impacted by that. Let me know if you guys, whether it's through DraftKings or anybody else, any other site, or even just like a regular MLB draft that you guys do or construct with friends. Let me know if this affected that as well. So again, enjoy the rest of your Monday. I just wanted to pop in and talk briefly about this. It's been something that's been stirring in me for a while, and because of the events on the news and what's been going on with the Miami Marlins organization. And again, it's not just them; it's other organizations too. The Reds, few players. Juan Soto of the Nationals, he's tested positive for COVID, and then you have other players that have symptoms and are waiting test results. So there's that again. So this has been Just Your Average Joe with my take on the shortened 60-game baseball season and how I feel MLB dropped the ball, and they should have never have started the season to begin with. But that again is my opinion, and I would love to hear your comments. Guys, have a great day.